What's up, guys? Welcome to GarageTalks Season 1, Episode 1. My name is Ryan, and I'm joined here today with Farhan. And today, we will be discussing your first car and what you should be looking out for.
So, welcome to our first episode. Let's jump right into it. Our first cars. How do you buy your first car? Now, here we have Ryan, who would like to... Ryan, I'll let you start off the whole episode with the first thing. What is one of the biggest things you look for or you do when you go to buy a car?
Well, one of the biggest things, to keep in your mind when you go to buy a car is just don't be afraid to walk away from your car. Even from that rare, 1 out of 100 Fox Body Mustang. You shouldn't be afraid to walk off from any deal whatsoever.
So, touching on that comment, we feel that you need your first car to be something that's reliable. You don't want it to just be a dream car. Getting your first car is a dream in itself. Don't think that you need to make it as big as a thing that you want it to be, You just need a car that gets you places. It's going to last you for a little bit until you can get the next one. Obviously, you're not going to stick with that 1999 Corolla forever,
Yeah, so deals come and go. Don't settle for something out of your price range. Just focus on taking the time and being patient. It's not something that you can half-ass.
Don't ever hesitate to tell a dealer that you want to come back. Either give them a date, I'll come back tomorrow, or hey, I want to look at it at a later time. You want to get all angles of the car. Sometimes, you'll look at a car in broad daylight, you'll see there's nothing wrong with it, right? And then you want to open up the car too. You want to take the hood of the car, open it up, see how the engine is. You want to get a mechanic to look at it. There's so much things that you need to do before you say, yeah, I'm gonna buy that car. When I went to buy my car, I bought a fairly new car. I bought a 2016 Civic in 2018. It had barely any miles on it. It had about 10 grand on it, right? 11.
Yeah, just about.
Yeah, so I chose that car because I looked at so many. I've looked from E90 BMWs to Fords to some awful Kias. Oh man, I hate Kias. They're so bad. Yeah, I've looked at so many cars, and then I finally settled on the Honda because I felt that it was giving me a lot of technology, a lot of reliability for the price I was paying for it. I looked at the Carfax, but that's not the only thing I did. I took the car to get it inspected by a mechanic that I trusted. So you need to do that as well. You need to take the car to someone that you trust that knows about these things, and they'll tell you what's wrong with it, what's good with it. Sometimes manufacturers will they'll make a fake Carfax to give to you so they can just sell the car. You think they don't, that's legal, but they will. They know that you're not a cop, they don't know that. So they'll just give you a fake Carfax, so you'd buy the car and then you take it home and you're like, oh damn, there's so many things wrong with it. You want to be aware of that.
Anything to get the sale. They'll do anything to get the sale. At the end of the day, you're the one buying the car, they're not driving it. I've walked away from Lexuses, some E46 BMWs, some E90s as well, a couple Infinities here and there. Overall, I've walked away from just a lot of Lexuses. I remember one time I walked away from a deal just because the engine did not sound right. And it was on a Lexus IS. Everything else looked perfectly fine, and then I turned it on and I was like, nope, I cannot do this. Take the time and make sure that you're getting what you want. It's not something you can half-ass, like I said before. Eventually, I ended up settling on a 2009 Toyota Camry. Sounds really fucking bad, but I guarantee you it was actually one of the best moves I could make for my first car. Because on one hand, I bought it from someone I personally knew for a while, and on another hand, it was also just in immaculate condition. I bought it at 85,000 miles around.
Oh, that's pretty high. But you know, like obviously, like Japanese cars, they're known to like go to what, like 250K easily.
Yeah,
you know?
that Camry's gonna last.
They'll last.
Yeah, and that Camry also, it wasn't just like a base Camry. Like the guy I bought it from, I just knew him. He took me with him to get it inspected just to show me that everything was all right with the car. It was a private deal, if you couldn't tell already, but he also did a couple mods here and there. Like I have a backup camera in that car, a couple subwoofers, some
So you know, it looks like that you had a pretty good experience, you know. I, on the other hand, when I was looking at like the BMWs especially, there is a place near my house, they have a crap ton of BMWs, you know, and like I thought they were a reputable dealership, but
and that's where I came in.
but you know, I actually read some reviews of the place, and it was saying that a lot of people were being scammed at that place. You know, they were hitting them with a lot of hidden fees, all kinds of stuff like that. And then on the way there in my Uber, my driver was actually telling me that he actually has multiple cars, and he bought Escalade, I believe, from them, and like they gave him a warranty, a used warranty, and like the car on like the first week there was some trouble with it, and he took it to them. They're like, oh, we don't cover it. And then he was just so frustrated, like, what do you cover? You know, it's like the most basic of basic functions, like the wheel should be working, you know. So yeah, you definitely want to be aware of who you buy the car from. You know, cars are a lot of maintenance. You don't want to be spending so much time behind your car, because usually when it's your first car, you either have a job or you have school, you know, you're getting into it early. You want to have something that's reliable.
Especially if it's something on warranty. If it's something on warranty, you want to make sure you read through that warranty just to see everything that it covers.
Yeah, and like, I mean, you know, I said that I got a pretty good deal on my car, but you know, I was required to settle on some sort of warranty from the company, you know. So what they gave me was a powertrain coverage or whatever, you know. And like, I read through it after I got home, and I realized it doesn't really cover anything. So you definitely want to read through it. Don't be me, you know. I was in like the last step of getting a car. I was super excited. I just did it. You definitely want to do that.
Yeah, that whole stack of papers they plop down onto you, just read through all of it.
Yeah.
Anything that it takes to make sure you get the good enough deal, like the proper deal.
Yeah, and like, you know, some dealerships, they'll like be really pushy. They'll be like, hey, like, you know, do you want to just close it out? You know, it's pretty standard, but don't say yes. Say, yeah, I want to read this through, because sometimes you will like stumble upon some really crappy things in that warranty, and you're just like, why do I have to pay for this? You know, so generally, going on to what we recommend, we definitely, I recommend something Japanese. I'm sure Ryan does too.
Yeah, definitely.
I'd say your first car, stay with the basics, you know, Toyota, Honda, Nissan. Nissan is a little iffy because they do have some problems with their transmission. So, you know, definitely do your research on Nissans if you want to get them. But
yeah, specifically Nissan CVT transmissions. I don't mean to call them out like that, but that's just my personal experience with those transmissions. They tend to give out fairly easily.
Yeah, and just because, you know, we're recommending Hondas and Toyotas doesn't mean they don't have problems. Like Honda's transmissions, once you put it into gear, the car will vibrate a little bit. If you think that bothers you, go with Toyota. You know, obviously do your research, test drive the cars. Mileage for your first car, it shouldn't really matter. I'd say stay under 100K, you know, because if it's like what 20K miles, under 100K, 80K miles, it's gonna last you for a little bit, you know, at least a year or two. And like 60, like he got his car at what, 85?
Yeah, 85. I still haven't gone up to 90K.
Exactly. I got my car at, I believe, 14k miles. I'm at 20k now, but that's just because I drive it every day. I drive it like I stole it, you know. So yeah, definitely.
Oh, disclaimer, he didn't steal it, by the way.
Yeah, of course not. Why would I steal a car, you know? These cars you actually can't like hot wire or anything, so they're basically, you basically have to rewire the whole computer to steal these things.
Yeah. So again, generally our recommendation is Japanese cars, Toyota, Honda, around 5 years old. You can stick to 5 to 10 years old.
10 years, they're still in like really good condition. The engines, like they're so well built, you know, like they perform like tanks, like honestly.
Yeah, and try to keep it under 100k miles as best as you can.
Yeah, you don't want to do that servicing after 100k.
If you want a little more luxury in your car that Toyota or Honda doesn't give, then you can go on to, like I said before, Lexus, Acura, Infiniti.
You can also do you can do some old Germans, but you really have to get that one like super well inspected. Like you need to take it to your own shop and get it done, because sometimes like there's some Germans who have electrical issues, but owners will try to like hide it or like fudge the details a little bit, so you buy the car. You know, it's a luxury car, everyone wants one.
And they cost a hell of a lot more to maintain. That's another thing. The Japanese cars, they cost so much less for maintenance.
Can you guess how much I've paid in the last year to maintain my car?
Probably less than 1K.
I've paid 0. Like that car has performed amazingly. I was blown away. Like
I'm not surprised. I mean,
like the only time I actually did some work was someone, like, he scraped my rear bumper when he was pulling out of a parking spot, but that wasn't even my fault. That wasn't even the car's fault, you know? It was just some really bad person. I really don't want to curse on this, but, you know, it's a person who, he was at fault, and, you know, he paid me for it. It's whatever. But definitely, like, I didn't have to do any type of work on the car. It's still at 21k miles now, and like it's performing like a champ. The car performs amazingly. And like I have friends who have cars and friends. I have friends who have cars that are like super luxurious, you know, like Mercedes C300s, BMW 3 Series. They get in my car
all the time.
Yeah, they get in my car and they're like, "Oh, wow, your car has more legroom. That's crazy." Like I'm paying what, like a fraction of their price?
Yeah, just because you pay more doesn't mean you get more.
Exactly.
Remember that, especially with cars. I don't want to name. I don't want to single them out right now, but we'll get into that later.
Yeah, that'll be another episode, huh? So you know, like your first car, you shouldn't really worry about looks. You definitely want it to be functional. You know, they're not going to be the best looks. And that comes to the next thing and we want to talk about. It's a cheap car, right? If you want to change how it handles, how it performs, you can mod it the way you want. Like the mods for these cars are super cheap, and there's so much there's so much third-party accessories that you can outfit these cars, and it'll basically become like a new car, like Ryan's car, you know, like
like I said, I got subwoofers in my car, and I have a backup camera in there, and I have a whole equalizer in the car too. Like they make these for these cars. My specific display is catered just for that model of the Toyota Camry.
Yeah, like you can literally take your old car and, you know, like, and make it into a new car. Like air quotes, but still, you know, it makes the car a little bit better. If you want to switch out the seats, you can. You know, you can get Recaro seats, right? You can get leather seats. There's so many things you can do to a car, and it's like, if it's a cheap car, you don't have to worry about it because you've already paid for it. It's not a loan over your head. You know, you can just go at it, and it builds a relationship with your car, right?
Yeah, and another benefit is, depending on how cheap your car is, you can just beat it to hell and back, and it'll still perform as you want.
Yeah, like I have a friend, he had a 2001 MDX, I believe. he threw whatever he wanted at that car, and that car handled it like a champ, right? Obviously, it's a tragic story because someone rear-ended him on a highway, and it was a bad accident.
It didn't end well. It didn't.
But
end well.
yeah, like, it built a relationship with that car. Like, it's his car that was damaged. I felt bad. Like, it hurt me because I loved that car. I'm in that car half the time when he's moving and he's doing things to that car, like modding it. He put HIDs in it. Again, one more thing. If you get a car with like nasty headlights, you can change that out. It's like a 10-minute mod.
Yeah, my headlights used to be yellow and I did it myself. They're now xenon headlights. They're blue.
Exactly. Like, you can change whatever you want in that car. Like, it's a cheap car. It'll get the job done. And it, like, if it's like an old reliable, it'll go for a long time. It's again, we always like to say that these cars are all about the learning environment,
the learning experience,
experience.
Well, now we're gonna introduce our top 5 first cars.
Yeah, our list of top 5 cars.
Yeah, and we're basing this list off of practicality, reliability, and beatability.
Beatability?
Yeah, beatability. I mean, it's your first car. You would want to beat it around a bit. You're not going to be that A1 driver just straight off the bat.
Alright,
so starting off, I'm just going to list them straight up. My top 3 would be, at number 1, Toyota Camry. The number 2 would be the Honda Accord. Number 3, the Hyundai Sonata. Number 4, a Lexus IS, because they're just super reliable and they give a good amount of luxury. Actually, I'll get into that a little bit more later. And then at number 5, E46 to E93 series, which is
Germans.
that's basically the 2000 to 2013 range of BMW 3 Series.
So, I mean, your list is pretty good. So, why'd you put a Sonata there?
Well, a Sonata there because Sonatas offer a really good amount of practicality, actually. My dad actually owned one in 2016. He bought a 2015 Sonata, and it was actually really good. They drove really well. It was a very smooth ride. A lot of legroom, actually.
Oh yeah, I've been in that car.
Yeah,
it's a lot of legroom.
And it was a crazy amount of cargo space too. Something like, I don't want to give a solid number now, actually, because I don't remember it off the top of my head, but it was a lot of cargo space. And it was, again, adding on to the really smooth drive, the steering was just so much smoother than what I have now. Because right now I drive the Camry. The steering on the Sonata was so much smoother.
You love that car too much. So, my list, the top one I have to say is some sort of Subaru. Either a Legacy, or if you can find like a good WRX sedan, or even a hatchback.
A WRX. I
like the hatchback.
As a first car, a WRX.
Hey, if you can learn to drive stick, you can drive anything. That's what I say. All right. Yeah, like, a Subarus are super reliable. Like, my dad's first car was a Subaru, even though it was like a beat up, crappy car, but it performed really well. Like, there was no engine trouble with it. The only problem with it was, like, sensors were going off left and right. But that's not his fault. Like, the old owner kind of beat the car up, like, electrically. Like, they pulled out the guts, put a bunch of other unnecessary stuff in there.
You gotta check for those. But.
Yeah, make sure you check for those. That's the point of the inspection. You want everything inspected in the car. My second list would be the Accord / Civic. Like, the new Civics, they basically have the same type of room, same performance as older Accords.
Yeah, I mean, I guess.
I like it. Okay, Accord Civic.
It makes sense.
Good enough. Second would be another pair, Altima and Maxima. I don't really mind the Civic. I mean, the Nissan issue, like, their CVTs are bad, but oh well, like, it's pretty reliable. Like, it goes bad after like 150k miles.
Yeah, we say they're bad, but in reality, it's not atrocious. Like, you can still go a good amount of distance with it.
Yeah. After that, I'd have a Kia Optima. You know I said I hate Kias, but I had to put it there. The 2011 plus models, they're not too bad. Honestly, they're not that bad.
Yeah, Kia really stepped up their game.
Yeah. Last, I'd say, if you really want some sort of clout, go for a Mitsubishi Lancer. You know, you don't have to get an Evo. You can put Evo kits on it. Like I said, Lancers are pretty cheap. You can mod it to be an Evo-ish. Quotes on the Evo. Yeah, that's about it. You know, for my list.
Yeah, and going back to my list, I just put the Camry on there because it's really versatile of a car. Like, a lot of people would hate on it, but there's a reason you see so many of them on the road.
I mean, you know, it's only in, like, New York that, like, people really hate on the Camry because that's,
yeah.
like, the standard yellow cab, right?
Yeah, that's the standard taxi car. Like,
Yeah.
and I don't know if you guys know this or not, but taxi drivers are just really aggressive, and I hate it every time I see a taxi driver. But onto my second pick, going back to, like, when I said the Accord, it's basically the same kind of reasoning. You know, a good amount of legroom, good amount of features, tech features, and it's extremely reliable. All my choices are just really reliable.
Also, last year you and I got to ride in the new Camry when they first released, right?
Yeah. The 2019 Camry.
The guy that was driving it, he was driving it like he stole it, and it was beautiful. Like,
Yeah,
I loved that ride.
Even though it was a Camry, it had a really good amount of power.
Yeah, that really surprised me. You know, a V6 in a Camry. It's, I mean, you know, if you're really into it, you get the V6. But
yeah, you can have fun with that car.
That car was so much fun. Yeah,
And,
even the Accord. Like, if you really want to, like, get the baller Accord, you can get the V6.
Yeah.
My friend has the V6. It's beautiful.
And going back to my last pick from my list, because I never really supported it as to why I put it onto my list, but the E46 and E93 series, even though we said that German cars are expensive to maintain, if you possibly by some gust of luck find an E46 or an E90 BMW 3 Series that is in really good condition, it just sounds amazing, and you pop the hood and everything is intact, all the original parts are there, like, it will be an amazing car to drive, because those German cars, the reliability on a German car is no joke. It matches that of a Japanese car. The only reason you see Japanese cars more than German cars is because changing out parts is just more expensive.
Yeah, like, I have a friend, he has a, I think you know him, Rafiat, he goes to...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he goes to, he has a BMW 3 Series, it's an E90, and, like, he got it when he got it, it was super clean. Like, I went to him for advice on buying a BMW, you know, like, his is super clean, he knew what to look out for. Like, you need to do your own inspections, because if you buy it, it looks clean, and then you take it home and it's just dead. It's just not worth it. You know?
Yeah, and it's completely plausible. You can buy a car, and then as soon as you reach home with it, it just falls apart. Like, for all you know, the bumper could just pop off for some reason. I don't know.
Bumpers, remember that car, the MDX the other day?
Oh yeah.
Oh, that was pretty funny.
Yeah, the bumper just fell off.
Yeah, you know, you want to look out for that. Don't hesitate to check the car out for yourself.
Yeah, and if you're buying a car, if you're in the market,
feel
free to ask around. Like,
Yeah.
ask your friends if they see anything. If they're selling their cars and you know it's, like, again, private dealers, it's not bad if you know them. Like, if you know the person and you know that they kept good care of their car, don't be afraid to ask them if they're ready to sell it or not.
Mm-hmm. So, you know, thank you for dropping by. Ryan and I will be doing this regularly. You know, we will talk a lot about random things about cars.
Anything car related. We will cover it.
So if you have any questions, leave comments, subscribe. You know, we will definitely cover most of the things.
especially questions about your first cars.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
there is a lot of material to be covered, and we just covered the basis of it. If you have a question about a specific car, just feel free to type it out in the comments, and we will get back to you.
Yeah, like I have a couple of friends who ask me what to do when they go to buy a car. Like I help them with it. Like it. Trust me, you definitely want to ask people for help. Like there's no shame in that.